All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, Xzone Radio TV. And if you'd like to find out about the programming we have available for you, 7/24/365 on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit xzbn.net. For the broadcasting that we have on Simul TV, on the X Zone TV channel, visit simultv.com. Now, for those of you who may not know this is the X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, and the X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, right here on the Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, and Talkstar Radio Network. Okay. Now, once again, if you'd like to send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. X-Zone Nation, my first guest tonight is Leon Bibi. And Leon attended high school in Riverdale, New York at the prestigious Riverdale Country School. He went to college at Washington University in St. Louis and law school at the University of Miami. Leon was CEO of his father's lighting business for 22 years and a member of the Young Presidents Organization for 17 years. Leon is the author of Adam-Alien, published in 2014, and Adam Decoded, published in 2018. They are part of the Adam series trilogy. Leon is an expert on such subjects as human origins, biology, and ancient mythology and archaeology. He is a believer in ancient texts representing actual human events and true history, and his thesis is both controversial and explosive. Joining me now is Leon Bibi. And Leon, welcome to the X Zone.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
All right. Where did your interest in extraterrestrials, ancient aliens, come from?
You know, it was interesting. I have two brothers. My older brother saw a UFO, and I had never seen a UFO or believed in UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
Saw a UFO in the 1980s, told me it was hovering over a highway in New York, 400 feet long, triangular shape. Many cars pulled over to the side, couldn't believe what they saw. He was dumbfounded. He called 911. They said they had 3,000 to 4,000 calls about this UFO. And just so happens to be that the UFO was over a nuclear base in New York, and he told me that story. I didn't really believe it, and I sort of put it aside mentally. Mm-hmm. Then my younger brother then was in the Hamptons in New York on Long Island and told me he saw 5 burning, spinning UFOs over the Atlantic Ocean, zipping around and fading in and out. And so after that, which was about 1991, I said, I really ought to look into this.
Okay, so what steps did you take in looking into the UFOs and sightings past and present?
I first started reading tons of books about UFOs. Stanton Friedman, who recently passed away a few years ago, was one of my favorite authors. He's nuclear physicist. He's from New Jersey, and he really dug deep into the NSA, CIA, through Freedom of Information Act at the Library of Congress, and he would sit and read memorandum and documents from MJ12, Majestic 12, which was a group of 12 scientists
But wasn't
during
but,
the Eisenhower.
But wasn't MJ12 proved to be a hoax?
I don't think it is a hoax. I've heard that before. I don't think it was.
Why don't you think it was? Have you ever seen the actual documents, or have you just seen the photocopies and the pictures like everyone else has?
I've seen just the photocopy. Just read them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the actual documents. No.
So what makes you think it's legitimate?
Just the depth of information, the dates, the corresponding dates to the crashes, in Roswell, Corona. The information, certainly the appendix that talks about, what to do with extraterrestrial craft. That really got me interested. I thought that was authentic.
Okay. So what was the first UFO case that you investigated or researched?
It definitely was Roswell. I looked into Roswell pretty heavily. I would say second degree. Second degree persons that were involved at Roswell, either a son, a daughter, read testimony, a lot of Stanton's work based on Roswell, and just Freedom of Information Act documents, related to Roswell, reading about the Eisenhower papers, and anything I can get my hands on about it. And I really, really felt that, the information, especially the memo that was shown in the hands of Ramey, that photograph, an enlarged photograph in the memo, talking about a saucer that had landed and bodies found in the ship. I thought that was the smoking gun.
But nobody's ever been able to read that entire memo because it is totally distorted.
Yeah. It is a bit distorted. I don't know what you've seen or heard, but it is a bit distorted. In my first book,
sure, I understand that because Kevin Randall, who writes books and does actual on-site research, has a show on this network, and I've talked to Kevin off-air about this, and he said nobody can read it. A lot of supposition is put into the Roswell case. Now, have you yourself actually gone to Roswell and investigated on scene?
No.
No, Okay. So what makes you think, besides the Remy memo that no one can read, that there was actually a crash UFO in Roswell and that there were life aboard it that have been since then carted off to, some people say Area 51, some say Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So what do you think really happened there?
I think there was an absolutely crash. I mean, I've got in my first book, Adam Equals Alien, copies of memos dated July 8th, 1947, confirming the following: a disc was recovered near Roswell, New Mexico. Victims of the crash were forwarded to Fort Worth, Texas. CIC teams would send PR of weather balloons.
Right.
There's another memo dated.
No. Let's just take that memo you read. It says a saucer craft. Am I correct?
It says a disc.
Okay, a disc. But it doesn't say it was from another planet. And it doesn't say that the occupants were of extraterrestrial origin, does it?
No.
So once again, we're supposing and adding suppositions to a hypothesis without any actual fact. What about the theory that, or what many people believe, that it wasn't actually a UFO that crashed? It was part of an atmospheric, or what was it called?
Weather balloon?
Not a weather balloon. It was a high stratosphere balloon that was used to detect nuclear blasts or nuclear detonations across across the horizon in Russia.
Yeah. I don't know. The photograph doesn't depict that. It doesn't at all. The photograph looks to me to be certainly not that. And if it were that, it would be 80 to 90 feet in length.
Yeah. Are you talking about the photograph where Jesse Marcel is on his knee holding what looks to be aluminum foil?
Yes.
Okay. All right, listen, you and I have to take our first break. Please stand by. And X Zone Nation, our guest this hour is Leon Bibi. We're talking about aliens. We're talking about UFOs. We're talking about ancient aliens. And we'll both be back on the other side of this message that's coming up shortly. A little bit of housework. Don't forget, the X Chronicles newspaper is available to one and all with our compliments at xchroniclesnewspaper.com. The X Zone directory of Who's Who is going to be released just in time for Christmas. And one more thing, right, Craig? If you'd like to watch the X Zone TV channel, it's exclusive to Simul TV, 724, 365 programming on the paranormal, parapsychology, UFOs, ghosts, hauntings, and things that go bump in the night. Everything that we talk about here on the show. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
Emergency.
This is Elijah.
What?
Elijah, you know Elijah?
No, I don't.
Well, they know me down at the police station. Well, hey, why does that keep beeping like that?
It's on a recording.
Oh, hey, a recording. That's great. I'm being recorded?
Yes, sir.
Hey, that's great. I want everybody to hear about me. Pretty soon I'll be world famous.
That's the truth.
I'm going to Jerusalem pretty soon. God's going to take me his way, a spaceship. UFO, you better believe it. They're everywhere. Everybody has seen, millions of people have seen them all around the world.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, that's right. And God bless the police officers and the scientists and the ordinary people that talk about these UFOs, so they do exist, and I know all about them. I'm a ufologist. I'm the #1 scientist on this planet. I'm an authority on them. I'm a scientist.
Okay.
Yeah, you heard of Albert Einstein?
No, but I'm going to have to go. I got other emergencies.
Well, I can explain it to you, his formula of relativity.
Well, I don't have time to hear Einstein's theory of relativity.
But it's very simple. E does equal MC squared.
That's right.
Okay, Emmanuel equals the Messiah coming the second time. It's elementary right there, Watson. Einstein was a Jew, and I'm a Jew, and very few people in the world understood him. That's right. I'm an engineer, I'm an electrician, a plumber, everything. I can do anything.
Well, that's wonderful.
And I'm the world's greatest entertainer.
Well,
I'm worth about $50 million a year.
Elijah, I got to go now.
Okay. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I made love to an alien near Roswell last night. We strolled along together in the pale moonlight. I had a funny feeling that something wasn't right. I made love to an alien last night. When she gripped my hand, I was feeling mighty fine. But her fingers with mine would not intertwine. When I bent down and gazed into her eyes, they were big as donuts and blacker than the sky.
And welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone, coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. I'm Rob McConnell. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. And throughout the internet on all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV. My guest this hour is Leon Bibi. And Leon, that picture that everybody associates with the Roswell crash debris with Jesse Marcel holding it up, it looks like it was a pre-planned photo op. What do you think about the fact that Jesse Marcel, after he went to Mark Brazel's farm and retrieved crash debris, took it into his custody, and instead of going right back to the base, he decided to go home, wake up his wife and son, brought this evidence into the house, let his son play with it, and then took it to the airbase. Now, doesn't that mean that as a base intelligence officer, he broke the chain of custody, and that evidence should never have been used in any aspect of an investigation?
That's possible. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. That's a definitely good
Yeah.
point. I did read that, and I did recognize that may have been certainly against protocol.
Yes, definitely. So doesn't that kind of taint the entire story of Roswell? Basically, that if the key factor, or one of the key persons or factor in this investigation, screwed it up, tainted the chain of evidence, that anything that was retrieved by Jesse Marcel could not be used in any way. And yet here you have a person who is sworn to secrecy as an officer in the intelligence division, who makes a big publicity stunt out of the whole thing. You see, I've got a lot of questions about Roswell. A lot of questions. It doesn't make sense.
I'm certainly not an expert,
Yeah.
Rob, on Roswell. I didn't write 3 books about Roswell. You just asked me which was my first case.
All right.
That I read it.
So what did you write 3 books about?
Specifically about the origins of humans, as it relates from the Sumerian tablets. I read pretty much all the Zecharia Sitchin books,
Right.
and read many translations of the Sumerian tablets about the Anunnaki.
Right.
I'm a big believer in the Anunnaki coming to Earth, for gold and creating humans. And my second book is called Adam Decoded, which delves into Sumerian tablets, etc. But the third book is called The Missing Link, and The Missing Link is specifically about DNA, about 223 genes that have no relation whatsoever to primates. They just came and showed themselves in the human genome. And I delve into 4 genes specifically that have to do with brain capacity, speech, and neurology, and could not have adapted via mutation through the normal Darwinian process of evolution.
Right.
So there must have been some sort of intervention with extraterrestrials and humans.
How did you do your research on this hypothesis that your book is based on?
A lot of information via genes, about these genes specifically. I've interviewed geneticists from New Jersey, Princeton, University of Chicago, Northwestern, and UCLA.
Wow.
I've gotten some information back from them. Some just don't really don't know about these 4 genes. They're sort of called pseudogenes, but if you look into them carefully, look at how they're how they're created and what they produce, and how they affect the human body, via intelligence or speech, or anything that separates us pretty much from primates. A lot of these geneticists just don't know where they came from. Specifically, chromosome 2. They call it chromosome 2, is a gene that just nobody understands, and they're just not aware of any typical formulation from a primate, Cro-Magnon primate,
Right.
mutating over hundreds of thousands or millions of years, into Homo sapiens sapien. They just cannot figure out how this gene became itself, and proteins were created, and so they just call it a pseudogene.
Wow. So when we're looking at the missing link, do you think that the missing link is the Anunnaki?
I do. I think the missing link is extraterrestrial intervention. Darwin himself admitted holes in his hypothesis, and there's no fossil evidence to show the transformation from a primate to a human. None. So because of this lack of evidence, fossil evidence, therein became the missing link. And so I believe, and several other people believe that, the missing link is a manipulation or an intervention by extraterrestrials. I believe it's the Anunnaki, but it could have been via many different types of extraterrestrials over, millions of years, hundreds of thousands to millions of years, in the human genome, to tweak it for their own purposes.
Why did the Anunnaki come here? Why did they manipulate human DNA? Why did they enslave DNA? And what did they need the gold for?
Yeah, so Nibiru, which is the planet where they're from.
Planet X?
Planet X, exactly. Way past Pluto. Zips into our solar system every 3,600 years. Basically was becoming irradiated, and they were losing their ozone layer, and they were dying. And so they needed something that could shield back the heat of it's a binary sun system. So they had a sun way past Pluto, but they were getting irradiated from the sun, and they needed some metal that could be malleable and thin enough to explode into the atmosphere and create a pseudo ozone layer and keep back this heat and radiation and ultraviolet rays.
So why did they pick Earth? There's no other planet in the solar system closer to Planet X that they could have mined for the gold?
What's funny? There's a lot of gold in the asteroid belt, apparently, in reading about this in the Sumerian tablets. And there's a phenomenal depiction of their voyage from Nibiru, Planet X, to Earth, around the asteroid belt. But yes, there's plenty of gold in the asteroid belt. But they couldn't mine it because they were in little chunks. It was very difficult to mine. Plus, apparently, some of their ships were getting destroyed trying to navigate through the asteroid belt.
Interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
So they found Earth, that Earth had gold, and they sent an expedition initially there. The Anunnaki confirmed that there was gold there, and then 200 members Anunnaki came to Earth, and then they started their operations in South Africa, and then moved to Middle East, and then from Middle East to South America. Wherever they found, were able to find gold, they started to mine it. And apparently the Ajiji, who were their miners, I guess you'd say, workers, revolted and did not want to. It was hard work.
All right, stand by. We've got to take a break here. When we come back, more about Anunnaki mining procedures. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. Leon Bibi is our guest. And if you'd like to find out more about Leon, or if you'd like to buy his books, visit Amazon.com. We'll be back on the other side of this news break. Whatever you do, don't go away.
And I was feeling mighty fine, but her fingers with mine would not intertwine. When I bent down and gazed into her eyes, they were big as donuts and blacker than the sky. She said, I'm feeling lonely. I said, Lord, so am I. We'll stroll along together, but we won't question why. That ground beneath your feet, dear, is flashing red and white, and sprouting little mushrooms left and right.
Well, I just got back from Roswell, where the aliens have been. And if you ask the feds the cause, well, they'll only lie again. Now I'm hunted by the gumshoes, and I'm wanted by the cops, 'cause they think that I might be the guy making circles in the crops. And I know that there's a conspiracy from the voices in my head. Elvis lives, that's clear to me. It's McCartney who is dead. And if the Mars men should come again and take me, I will go. I will take a trip on their rocket ship. God bless the UFO. Give JFK this message. It's the Cuban Army's fault. And I know that Dave Koresh is alive inside a vault. We've seen reports in papers of a guy who knows about a car that runs on chewing gum, but the Arabs rubbed him out. And we loudly warn that America is badly unprepared. With the Cold War through, we need something new that can get you good and scared. Do you wonder just who is warning you of conspiracies today? We're the ones who fill the rumor mill. We are the CIA.
And welcome back, everyone. Leon Bibi is our guest this hour. He is the author of several books. It's a trilogy, and if you go to Amazon.com or Amazon.ca and type in his name, Leonbibi, into the top search engine, you'll be able to buy his books right then and there. Where did the, I understand that the Anunnaki were talked about or written about in the Sumerian text. Zechariah Sitchin introduced them to the world. But is there any other statement or any other historical reference that the Anunnaki were in fact real and that the Anunnaki did in fact come from another planet?
Besides the Sumerian tablets,
Yeah.
there were depictions of the Anunnaki in Egypt on, several, I guess, clay fortresses, and they would depict a large, muscular humanoid, and then they would depict the smaller, half the size, smaller, thinner humanoid next to them, subservient to them.
Okay.
I would say that those would be pretty much the only two, formal depictions of the Anunnaki.
So why do we give it any credibility?
Why wouldn't we?
Why would we? It's not as if it's been recorded or there's been other evidence found to support the Sumerian text claim. How do we know it just isn't a story that was made up?
It predates the Bible, the Old Testament.
That's not what I'm asking you. I'm not bringing the Bible into this.
Well, I'm just saying, some people believe the Bible is all, fact, and I would dispute that.
Okay.
So the Sumerian tablets are 6,000, some cases, 6,000 years ago.
Okay.
4,500 BC.
All right.
So it predates all documentation. As long as it's translated correctly, it predates all documentation. So I would argue that that's probably the most credible, information available to human society.
But once again, have you actually read the exact?
Yes, I have.
All 6,000 pages? Or I'm sorry, no, 6,000 years ago.
There's 300,000 tablets.
And you've read them all?
I've read several. I would say probably, they're translatable into several books.
Right.
And there's been, linguists from the University of Pennsylvania, Samuel Kramer, who translated, 50,000 tablets, and pretty much the tablets speak to the Anunnaki having existed, being real, coming to Earth for gold, creating humans for as to be slave labor because of the Igigi going against and just avoiding the work of digging up the gold. And I think that Zechariah Sitchin is he's a maverick in what he created and unearthed, and I think he should be as important as some of the most prestigious researchers / philosophers out there.
Why, if the Anunnaki were so smart that they could actually develop space flight Why would they have to come to Earth to get gold? Why couldn't they use some other material? And my question is, why couldn't they mine it from the asteroid belt? Why would this civilization come here and basically enslave us?
Yeah, they didn't really enslave. Well, they created us, so I wouldn't say enslave us. They created us to become slaves. Yes, I'm very happy they did.
Why?
Because without that, we wouldn't be here.
How do you know that?
I'll give you a little data. Homo habilis, 2.2 million years to 1.6 million years. You can check this.
Yeah.
Had a brain capacity of 750 milliliters.
Okay.
Homo erectus, 1.6 million to 400,000 years, had a brain capacity of 900 milliliters. So for 1.2 million years, the brain enlarged from 750 to 900 milliliters. That's 16%.
Okay.
All of a sudden, from 200,000 years to today, Homo sapiens brains went from 900 milliliters to 1,400 milliliters. That's a 55% increase.
Okay.
How did that happen? By
Evolution.
Darwinism?
Yeah.
By human evolution? By mutation?
Yeah,
No,
why not?
didn't.
Well,
So
wait a
obviously
second.
something
Then
happened.
what are you
Something-
saying? What are you
some-
saying?
some
Wait a
intervention
second.
happened.
Wait a second. Hold on here. So you're saying that all other species on this planet, all other mammals, they progressed to the point where they are today because of the intervention of the Anunnaki?
No, only Homo sapiens, only humans.
Well, why wouldn't they use horses? They were, or whatever large animal there was, instead of using humans or slaves.
They used Cro-Magnons. They didn't use Neanderthals. They used Cro-Magnons
Okay.
because that was the most, I guess, closest skull and closest body structure to theirs. Even
Right.
though it was smaller than theirs. Neanderthals were more primate. The wideness of the face and the nostrils,
Right.
and the Cro-Magnons were a little bit more humanoid, and so they took an egg, several. It took them, I don't even know how long, but a long time to figure out how to basically create a test tube baby from a Cro-Magnon egg and an Anunnaki sperm, and they mixed it just like a test tube baby would be. And they had to snip and basically snip several chromosomes from the primates. They've 48. We have 46.
Right.
They had to snip some of the chromosomes and literally take some parts out and snip on others. So they had to add speech, they had to add cranial capacity, and reasoning, and so those are those were genetic traits that Anunnaki had. So that's proof that primates don't speak. They don't have the capacity to speak. We do. So and there are 3 or 4 genes that are specific to speech and brain capacity. MIR 941, that's a brain gene. SR6AP2, also a brain gene.
Okay.
So these.
Let me ask you this. Let's say 5 years from now, or even next month, science makes a startling discovery. They find the missing link. It has nothing to do with the Anunnaki. It has nothing to do with Planet X. It has nothing to do with extraterrestrials. What then?
There won't be a missing link because there's no bit since Darwin in 1860. There hasn't been one shred of evidence, fossil evidence, showing the transition from primate to human. Not one.
And there has been no fossil evidence of the Anunnaki either.
That's not true. There is fossil evidence of the Anunnaki.
Where?
And there are skulls of the Anunnaki that were found in Peru.
Oh, so you're talking about you're talking about the elongated skulls.
Yes.
That have been proven to be abandoned.
No, not true.
All right, you're a believer. You're a believer.
Heavy duty.
Heavy duty. But your belief is based on no fact. It's all theory.
No.
Yeah. All right, stand by. We've got to take our final break for this segment. This is the everybody. And as you know, we're always searching for answers, but demanding the proof. Send me your email. Are you a skeptic or a believer? X-Zone@XZoneRadioTV.com. We'll continue on the other side of this break as we wrap up this hour here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
Out in the field, farmers grew bread and called for the meat. They took for the shed, then dark came to fall. Silence was all, a beauty shone bright, surrounded by light. Come on now, I fell in love with the Nelly. I fell in love with the eyes. I fell in love with the Nelly. I'm telling you, no disguise. I'm in love with the Nelly. I'm in love with the eyes. I'm in love with the Nelly.
Walks further down the street with the brim pulled way down low. Ain't no sound but the sound of his feet. Machine guns ready to go. Are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Out of the doorway, the bullets rip to the sound of the beat. Yeah. Another one bites the dust.
And welcome back, everyone. Leon Bibi is our guest. His books are available on Amazon.com. All right, before we went to the break, we were talking about fossil proof of the Anunnaki. And you brought up the elongated skulls from Egypt. I'm sorry, from Peru.
Yeah.
Now, they're not fossilized.
No.
I'm asking for fossil evidence that the Anunnaki were here.
I'm not aware of any fossil evidence of.
Oh, okay, but if they were here, why isn't there any fossil proof of this? You know, there's Cro-Magnon proof. You know, so why isn't there any proof of the Anunnaki except in the Sumerian tablets?
I mean, the Sumerian tablets, yes, and depictions in Egypt, yes.
But those depictions could be depicting anything. It's a supposition that this depiction of this tall person, this big person beside a small, slender person, is the Anunnaki beside a human. But does it say anywhere?
With a wristwatch holding a bag, I don't know. It seems to me too far-fetched to be just a depiction of any human.
How do we know it's a wristwatch? Come on.
What else would it be?
Well, a bracelet. The Egyptians used to wear bracelets.
Doesn't look like a bracelet.
Well, there's many kinds of bracelets. You know, but
to
once
me, it looks like
again,
a watch of some sort, communication device.
that's because you're a believer.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what difference will it make to society, to the listeners of this show who have to get up tomorrow morning, go to work to pay their bills, if the Anunnaki were real or not?
Listen, I'm a believer that Darwinism is not true.
No, answer my question. Answer my question.
Your question is whether or not it's important for your listeners to believe in Anunnaki
For
or not?
society in general, how will this enrich us? How will this feed the poor, feed the hungry? How will this help with the climate situation that we're in?
Has nothing to do with that.
That's right. So why should we care?
I care. I think you should care where you're from and the truth of evolution, and that it's not from Darwinism or mutation or survival of the fittest,
Right.
that humans did not evolve from monkeys
Okay.
only, and that your listeners should be aware that there's information, genetic information, that proves that there are 223 genes that just have no predecessors, that couldn't have just shown up. There had to have been some event.
But what about what about the listeners who believe in the Bible that God created the heavens and the earth? Nowhere in there is the Anunnaki mentioned, the Nephilim are mentioned, but nowhere is it in the Bible is, the Anunnaki mentioned. And as far as
it is. The Old Testament, the Anakim is mentioned 168 times.
That doesn't mean Anunnaki.
Anakim does mean Anunnaki. It's plural for Anunnaki.
And you know that. Where did you get this information?
It's from the Old Testament.
No, but where did you get the translation?
The Sefer Torah, which is the original translation in Hebrew.
And it actually says Anunnaki.
It says Anakim.
But
Anakim.
Does it say...
It's a plural for Anunnaki.
All right. Let's go in a different direction here. How come many people believe in Planet X? Of course, they believe in the Anunnaki as well, I would imagine. But the greatest scientists in the world, as well as those who watch the skies at night, have never seen any proof of Planet X.
I'm not so sure it's in our solar system right now.
Well, that's...
it whips around every 3,600 years. I'm not sure how far out it is. I don't know.
So we don't know if Planet X really does exist, number one, right? Because of its orbital path.
The Wall Street Journal in 1986, the New York Times in 1997, both talked about Planet X in detail. As a matter of fact, I've snips of those articles in my books. So that's not true.
But once again, it was unsubstantiated by scientific proof by any
Planet
evidence.
X, and it's twice the size of Earth, and they know that it's...
How do they know? They've never seen it. It's never been tracked.
No, I don't know about that.
Well, if NASA would have this other planet that is supposed to be so big, wouldn't we know about it? Or is this like
not always, because NASA is really not going to always tell you what they know.
So you're also into the government conspiracies.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yes.
Uh-huh.
That's what I do. That's why I'm here. I like to, like you're digging, I like to dig too. Okay, and I dig into the facts, and I do believe that everything we hear on the radio and everything we hear from the governments is not always true. And yes, they're going to hide information that they know, the trilaterals, the Bilderbergs, that they know are...
Here we go, the New World Order. The New World Order.
Create havoc.
Yeah.
Or an uproar.
Okay, so the government may at time evade certain issues, right? I'll agree with you on that. But so do authors. Authors who have an agenda to sell and try and make a name for them to get their 5 minutes of fame and glory. We see this all the time. So why should we take the word of an author who's never done any physical research in any of the locations where they write about compared to the government? Who do we believe? Well, there we've done it again, Exo Nation. Another guest who just couldn't take the heat of the Exxon. When questioned too much, when credibility is challenged, when you try and get a straight answer, it's like, it's hard. It's really hard. But the worst part is, Exo Nation? They think that we give them a platform to come on and promote their books without challenging them. They want, this guy said he's out there to get the truth, answer the truth, right? He's not. He's out there to sell a book. Because when I asked him about fossil proof of the Anunnaki, what does he bring up? The elongated skulls that are found in Peru and Central America. If the Anunnaki were going to, look for gold, how come they didn't look for it in North America, in Canada, or the United States? Only in the ancient lands. If it doesn't make sense, we have the right to question it. I don't believe that the Anunnaki are real because there is no evidence except within what did he say? Within the Sumerian text, Zechariah Sitchin brought it to the top. Wow. I had a lot of respect for Zechariah. He was on the show a number of times. But when push comes to shove, I did not get answers to my questions. And when I pushed, because I felt that the Exonation was being deceived and led down a rope that had nothing but knots in it, he hung up. He didn't want to speak to us anymore. I'm not George Noory, where you go on and he agrees with everything you say. I'm not. I don't want to be another George Noory. I like asking questions. I like getting honesty from a guest. That is why we call it searching for answers, demanding the truth. Wow. I don't understand this. I really don't. But I guess he's got nothing better to do. You know, he was, he was the CEO of his father's lighting shop, and I didn't see any studies that would pertain to paleontology. Who knows? Anyway, I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. And as you know, X Zone Nation, when I play this song, it means another one bites the dust. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Walks further down the street with the brim pulled way down low. Ain't no sound but the sound of his feet. Machine guns ready to go. Are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Out of the doorway, the bullets rip to the sound of the beat. Yeah. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust.